This is Brandy Shampoo with Exploring Expression, and welcome to our very first Sundays at 7. Um, as I said a moment ago, my name is Brandy Shampoo. I help parents become the very best expression of themselves so that you can in turn make learning fun, easy, and natural, not just for your children, but for yourselves as well. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I know your time is valuable, and so is mine. But I just wanted to jump on here a little bit and talk about what to do when it's over. So before I get into that, as you come in, say something. Drop a comment or say hello. Let me know that you're here. And if you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay. And I may not get to all the comments right away, but I'll go back afterwards and I assure you I will respond to them all. So let's dive right in. What to do when it's over. This is mid May, and for a lot of us, the public school year is ending. And can I just say, this has been one of the strangest public school years that I've ever remembered, right? Can you agree to that? The coronavirus and not just for public school, but for homeschool too. However, you're schooling, this has been a change. Right? The You couldn't go on field trips, you couldn't go to museums, you couldn't go. So many of the things that we used to do, and so many of the ways we used to um, rely on being able to be out in public, suddenly we couldn't do. And now it's over. Now the school year is coming to an end. But maybe that's not the only thing that's coming to an end in your life. There's a lot of endings in life. There's the ending of one job for another, ending your single life to marry, or perhaps you're ending your married life going back to single. Maybe you're moving. Maybe you're ending your life in one neighborhood or one home to go to another. Maybe something in your life is passing away. Maybe your baby graduated. Maybe your child graduated, and the time of them being a child is ending, right? Think about what kind of endings you have in your life. How do you feel about that? Is it an ending? So let's start with this. Is it over? Is it an ending or is it a beginning? Louis L'Amour says there will come a time when you believe everything is finished. That time, that will be the beginning. So let me ask you again. What kind of beginnings are happening in your life right now? Because every ending is also a beginning, right? But sometimes endings are hard. No matter what kind of ending it is, it's never, woohoo, it's over. Maybe it still can be joyful, but it's still traumatic. Anytime you change from one thing to another, there's trauma involved. So, what I want to give you today are 3 ways to turn your ending into a new beginning. 3 ways to make what seems like the passing of something into the start of something. Are you ready for this? Right? Way number 1, own your emotions. Now I use this several times. It's one of my personal catchphrases. Own your emotions. Because you know what? Until you can feel something, until you let yourself feel it, you won't let yourself heal from it. Let's say your baby is graduating, right? And you want to be strong and you want to hold it together, but really you want to cry. Well, own that moment. Let yourself feel the passing of that moment so that you can get through that to the joy. Or let's say your relationship is ending. Maybe you have a marriage or a partnership that is ending. Let yourself be sad. There's a country song that says, I just want to be mad for a while. Maybe what you need is just to be mad for a little bit. Own your emotions, but then don't live there. Allow yourself to feel it, but then don't live in that space. Project management, a lot of times they talk about as you're ending a project, arranging a post-mortem for it, a formal ending. So I think that what we need to do as things are ending is allow it to have a formal post-mortem. Let it be over and say, I acknowledge this. This was great. Take the time to think about what you may have learned or how you may have grown through it. Because everything we go through, everything from birth to this moment now, has been a learning opportunity for us. Hey, Karlika. Everything you go through in life is an opportunity. You are growing every single moment. Be it good, be it bad, be it happy, be it sad, be it otherwise. You're growing and you're learning and you're evolving and you're becoming the person you want to be. You're moving towards your purpose with every experience, good or bad. And so acknowledge that. Let yourself feel it and take the time as something is ending, as this period in our life is ending, to have that post-mortem and say, yes, that happened. If that's you, post in the comment, yes, that happened. This is important. It's important to allow ourselves to acknowledge that this occurred and there's no shame in it. There is no shame in what's happened. Be it good, be it bad. Maybe what's ending is the school year, and maybe it was not so good. You know, maybe you didn't get the grades you thought you should get, or maybe you didn't have the time that you thought you should have. You know, maybe there's a lot of public school students who didn't get to walk across the stage to collect their diplomas. Does that make them any less graduated? Acknowledge, I did this. I did this and it happened. And that's okay. So number one, lay it to rest in style. Own your emotions and acknowledge it happened. Number two is equally important. You ready for this? If you're ready, post number 2 in the comments. Number 2, let it be over. Own it, lay it to rest, and then let it be over. You can't start the next chapter in your life if you keep rereading the last one. Hey, Dr. Sapp. You can't start the next chapter in your life if you keep rereading the last one. In my book club, we are currently reading The Lord of the Flies, right? Now, if you've never read this book, I highly, highly recommend it. There's a reason it's a classic. Things become classics for a reason, right? So reading The Lord of the Flies. Now, what would happen if after I read this, and I got to the end, and I found out that, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I found out what happened. Instead of moving to a new book, I just picked this up and I just started it over again. And then I read it again, and I put it down, and I picked it up, and I started reading it over again. The only thing I would ever know is what happened in The Lord of the Flies. I would never find out what happens in Madame Bovary, which is the next book we're reading. This applies to your life. If you stay in that moment that's supposed to be over, you know, God ends things for a reason. If it was meant to go on, it would still be going on. It's ended so that something new can begin. Something has to end so that something new and something better can begin, right? So once you lay it to rest in style, the second thing you need to do is then let it rest. Let it be over so that you are ready. You are ready physically, you are ready mentally, you are ready spiritually, you are ready emotionally for the glorious new beginning. For the glorious new beginning. You know, as when my daughter graduated high school and moved on to college, I'm not going to lie, I did not want my baby to leave. She was my baby. I want her to stay, right? I want her to stay with me. But until I allowed her childhood, and until she allowed her childhood to be over, her adult life couldn't begin. And maybe what's ending for you now is a relationship. Maybe you've ended a relationship. But as long as you're still holding on to that, until you allow that to be over, now you've laid it to rest. Until you allow that to be over, you're not open for your new beginning. So, number 1, lay it to rest in style. 2, then let it be over. Now number 3. Number 3 is the kicker. Are we ready for it? Number 3. Look to the future. Look to the future. Barbara Sher says, you can learn new things at any time in your life if you're willing to be a beginner. If you actually learn to like being a beginner, the whole world opens up to you. Hear that? The whole world opens up to you. If you learn to like being a beginner. My company, Exploring Expressions, is all about learning. Everything we do, everything we do is about learning. Why? Why is learning so important? Why is the passion and the desire to learn so important? Because learning is a continuum of new beginnings. Everything you learn opens up a new beginning that didn't exist before. So even though school is ending, even though the public school year is ending, it's not truly ending, because everything you can learn is a new beginning for you and a new beginning for your children. I ask my daughter, even though she's away, I ask her all the time, who have you learned from today? What have you learned today? Guess what I've learned today? Guess what I read today? Guess who I talked to today? Guess who I listened to today? But how do we do that? How do we learn? How do we look to the future when something's just ended? We start by learning something new, right? Or relearning something we've forgotten we've loved. Who has a hobby or a passion that they haven't done in a while? I have a ebook that I used to put out called How to Be a Writer. And the very first thing is that if you want to be a writer, write every day. Write every day. But I know so many people who profess a love of writing that aren't writing. Right? This is your time. This is your time when something is ending to begin the thing that's in your spirit to do. What's in your spirit to do today? This is your time to do that thing. Right? And then cast out your net. Cast out your net. You'd be surprised what you're going to catch. There's a Bible story where the men are out fishing, and they've been fishing all day and haven't caught anything, and Jesus comes and he says, cast your net on the other side of the boat. And then a whole bunch of fish, multitudes of fish come. Right? Why? Because they cast out their net for something new and in something new. What new experience is waiting for you to cast your net out and receive it? This is the time. This is the time to learn and grow. Cast your net out and receive it. Just because something is over does not mean everything is over. Let me say that again. Just because something is over does not mean everything is over. This is not the end. Just because the story is over does not mean there's nothing else to read. Wouldn't that be a shame if I said this story is over? I guess I'm done reading. That's all the reading. There's just that one book. No, because there's so much more to learn and teach and explore and grow. This is the time. This is the beginning. What do you do when it's over? You begin. What do you do when it's ending? You start. What do you do when everything comes to a stop? This is your time to go. This is your time to go and to grow and to lean into your best expression. Lean into your best expression because it's waiting for you. So, our 3 ways how to turn an ending into a new beginning. 1. Lay it to rest in style. Own your emotions and arrange a postmortem. 2. Then once you've laid it to rest, let it rest. Let it be over. And then 3, look to the future because the future is waiting for you. It's waiting for you and it's wonderful. And I think, that's it in a nutshell. The school year may be over, but learning is just beginning. There's so many things to learn this summer. So many things to learn and to do. In fact, here's a tip. Disney is offering, because I know we're working on it this summer, their Imagineering course for free. And it's an online course and it teaches your children how to build a theme park. That's something new, right? Let's use this opportunity. What are you going to learn today? The summer is open, wide open before us. What are you going to learn? Well, I hope you like this, and I hope you come back next Sunday at 7. Sundays at 7. And do me a favor. Go ahead and like and share this video. Right? Sharing is caring. And if you enjoyed the message, then someone else will enjoy the message too. So like and share this video. And when you're done, come back here and write done in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And of course, turn on your notifications so that next Sunday you can hear next week's message. And until then, like I said, my name is Brandy Champeau, and I'm a writer, speaker, and curriculum developer. I help parents like you become the very best expression of themselves so that you can in turn make learning fun, easy, and natural, not just for your children, but for yourself, because you deserve it too. And until next week, I'll see you later.